What's going on, everybody? It's Robinson DUP. I want to make a response video where Jason Blaha, and this is not attacking Jason by any means, but talked about how the fitness community and the internet community has caused a lot of the eating disorders and body dysmorphia disorders and self-confidence type of issues within society. And to a point, I agree with Jason. I think the fitness community does a lot of irresponsible things in terms of making blanket statements regarding food consumption, calories, the way you should look, basically saying if you're a failure, if you don't have the genetics like somebody else to develop the muscle bellies that they have, and constantly pushing like this image down your throat. And I want to talk about that image a little bit, and I want to be very honest about it because I partake in it. I know a lot of competitors in it. And I want to make you aware that the fitness community has a lot of unhealthy habits hidden behind the curtain, if you will, that kind of go unmentioned. So if you're a competitor, you kind of discover some of this stuff. So let me kind of talk about what that is. Whether in the natural world or in the steroid world, there is a lot of body dysmorphia issues where people, no matter how big they become or how good they look, always will have self-confidence issues. Always will hate the way they look, and that's why they will always continue to train to make themselves look better. But there's also a lot of eating disorders tucked behind the fitness community, whether that's binging and purging, bulimia, orthorexia, where people are obsessed with only eating healthy things because they hide behind the reason that it's optimal. They're trying to be optimal at all times to keep their body anabolic. Everything's optimal. Which is a load of bullshit. I've heard a lot of people who are so afraid to eat a cookie because it's not optimal or it's going to do something to their insulin. It's going to add body fat. They're not going to be able to get as lean because they had a cookie or two. They're not going to build as much muscle because they ate a Pop-Tart or some sort of candy or Twix bar. That's all a bunch of bullshit. There's a lot of anxiety disorders or OCD type things that are being controlled through people's bodies and what they're eating. There's also a lot of drug use, whether that's steroid use. I know some natural competitors who were addicted to painkillers and things like that. I also know people who've competed so much year over year without giving themselves a break, both men and women, that have completely chased all the sex hormone out of their body. So therefore, they all have to go on HRT. They don't have a choice. And can no longer, well, unless they're in the ANBF, a lot of them cannot compete in natural organizations because natural organizations discourage the use of hormone replacement therapy as of right now. So these are all some of the things that you need to be aware of. The things that you're worshiping actually have disorders and unhealthy things going on behind them. And I was actually talking to my coach about this after seeing several competitors with things that happen either going into a show, things that happen after show, or the person's lifestyle in the off season, or I'm like, am I like one of the few that has a healthy relationship with food, with my approach to If It Fits Your Macros and flexible dieting, where, you know, I don't obsess over every little thing. Now, I'm on my reverse diet, and, you know, don't get me wrong, I don't want to put on a ton of unnecessary fat, but I am not obsessing over my macros. So if I'm like, you know, a couple grams over on something, I'm not losing my mind over it. If I have a bad day where I really kind of overshot my macros, for whatever reason, you know, I was out and I was trying to eat with my family and just have some semblance of normalcy, I'll just go right back on the bandwagon for the next couple days, and it usually levels me off. But I'm not obsessing over every pound and every ounce and every little gram of carbs, protein, or fat. You know, there's got to be a balance in all of this. And also, let me explain something else. It's good to have, you know, a benchmark, for instance, to compare yourself to or to want to reach. So, for instance, regardless of what your opinion on is of Doug Miller, I think he has a phenomenal physique, okay? Whether he's natural or not natural, I really don't give a shit. He's passed all the drug tests, so you can say what you want. There are outliers. I choose to believe that he's an outlier. Could I be wrong? Absolutely, but I don't care. It's my choice. So I'll look at, you know, guys like Doug Miller, and I'll aim to build my physique to be complete and strive for higher. Now, am I ever going to look like Doug Miller? Probably not. I don't think I have the muscle bellies or the genetics, whether I was on drugs or not on drugs, to look like him. But there's nothing wrong with striving and pushing yourself beyond what you think you can do, because worst case scenarios, you still end up better off. But to sit there and be depressed and to beat yourself up and destroy your self-confidence because you can't reach that because of where your muscle bellies or your genetics are is ridiculous. And, you know, I granted the fitness community imposes some of these problems by saying their stupid shit that they say with their blanket statements, like cheat clean or cook clean, which I'm going to do, that's just retarded, and saying that you need to have an 8-pack or you're not fit. I don't know where a 6-pack or 8-pack defines how healthy you are, because it doesn't. But at the same time, you know, you as a person have a right to say, hey, listen, I don't care if I have an 8-pack. An 8-pack's not important to me. I have a general fitness goal. You know, I want to be, you know, somewhere in the, say, 12 to 15% body fat range. I want to have a healthy relationship with food. I'm not going to panic if I have 3 cookies. I'm not going to deprive myself of anything, but I'm just not going to binge on processed crap all the time either. And having a well-approached, just a well-balanced approach to the whole situation. So, Jason, I agree that, yes, the fitness community does say, well, you know, do this certain way to look like me. But at the same time, people need to take accountability for their own actions and choices and make a conscious decision in their head to be aware of what they're doing to themselves. You can't constantly cry victim all the time. Oh, well, it's society's fault or it's fitness people's fault that I feel this way about myself. No. Nobody can make you feel bad about yourself except yourself, okay? People could try. Don't get me wrong, excuse me. But if somebody goes to me, and I've had it with trolls, say, oh, well, you know, your abs aren't great, or you don't have the right shoulder to waist ratio, which I can't control because my bone structure is my bone structure, okay? I can't change my bones. You know, or your arms are too big compared to your shoulders. Listen, I can work on my body for the rest of my life and never be satisfied with it. But that doesn't mean I have to let other people make me feel crappy about myself. I look in the mirror, I decide what I need to work on. And if I'm not happy with it, I work to change it. But I don't define myself just by my physique. I've got a lot of other things going for me. I have friends, I have family, I have a life. Bodybuilding is just a hobby. I don't obsess over optimal. And I don't think anybody else should either. It's just becoming too much of people worrying so much about every little thing they eat that they self-defeat themselves into thinking they can never progress at all and abandoning their pursuit of fitness, which is even the most sad thing. You know, if you're not interested in being a bodybuilder or as a woman being a size 0, nobody says that you have to be. And don't allow anybody to make you feel that you should, including myself. I don't tell people what they should weigh or how they should look. That's entirely your choice, and it's up to you. So I hope you, you know, got a little bit of insight to how unhealthy some of the fitness people really are. And be okay with looking in the mirror and choosing how you want to look and how you want to be. Do not defeat yourself before you even get started. Do not say, you know, undermine what you're capable of doing. It's small little victories over time. I didn't look this way even as so much as 3 years ago. And just progress how you deem to be, how you feel the need to progress, in other words. So if you're not happy with how your strength is getting, you know, look at your programming, may change your programming up to figure out a way that maybe mentally gets you more in the game or helps you break past some plateaus. Maybe you'll respond better to one kind of training than the other. If you're not happy with the amount of body fat that you have on it, then maybe you need to start really working on your nutrition and your diet. But once again, that doesn't necessarily mean you have to starve yourself, deprive yourself, avoid any sort of processed foods. You need to be well-rounded, well-versed, and just that's what's being healthy. Having a healthy self-image, having a healthy relationship with food, that's the way it should be for everybody across the board. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later.